I'll really shake it up, because I really think it's honestly, I really think that it's a system of control. And I'll explain this as briefly as I can explain it, but it's going to take a while. This is just my opinion. This is just how I feel. I feel that when you tell an artist to make a club single or something hot for the radio, then creatively you limit their creativity and you only give them one type of record to make. But in that space, you can control access to the entertainment industry through that space. If your only way, if you're telling everybody you need a single on the radio, then everybody that goes in the studio and makes a record is trying to make something a certain tempo or a certain texture or a certain tone or with a certain lingo to get on the radio, to get into the record company's doors. So to me, that's a system of controlling who has access to the music industry. So I think that with performances and the way that show money is at an all-time high, I think it's created a troposphere of income for an independent artist and to not be focused. So I feel like it's a hustle. I feel like record companies, and I'm not going to name names or saying that this is just my personal opinion. I feel like when you have that area, when you take an artist like Rich Homie Quan, right, a 17-year-old kid, 18, 19, I don't know how old he is, he's a pretty young guy. When you put him in that space and say, all right, he's making $25,000 a show with his independent record, that's more money than anybody has ever seen his age. So for him, there's two things that he's not focusing on at that point, or any artist in that area, which is the Billboard charts, right, and greatness. So it's about income. And I'm not saying he's focused on money as an artist and that's what he wants to be, but a lot of these kids that are making these records right now, they just want to get a check and get out the hood, and I understand that. But before that, I think that in that era, in the 90s, when Biggie was out, and Nas and Jay-Z, these guys definitely wanted to get out of the hood. But they also wanted to be hot. I want to be the best rapper. I want to be the best artist. I can rap better than this guy. I'm a better talent. It's like my talent is better than theirs. So what happens is you have this new income where we're comfortable, and we messed the money up ourselves. We took a lot of deals and we blew a lot of money. And so hip hop and R&B got set out of the record company's doors. Like, you're out here to fend for yourselves. Cool. So our mantra was, fine, if we're out here, pay me to come back in. My record's hot. I want $1 million deal. I want a $2 million deal. And they're like, great, great, great. Because for every one of you that we let in, there's 50 that are let outside. And your focus is on money. So now when you're focused on money, there's two things that you're not focusing on: the Grammys and the Billboard charts. So at the end of the day, it leaves the top of the charts wide open for artists that focus on art and they have their mind directed in making great music and great records. So the Grammys are void of African American talent, and the Hot 100 chart is void of African American presence in urban records, because we want the check. So we have to focus more on being great and ignoring the fact that, yeah, I'm gonna get 25,000 a show, yeah, my record's hot on radio, blah blah blah. But you're not going to wind up at the Grammys with a lot of these records that are getting signed at record companies. You're going to get the quick flip. You're going to get out there, you're going to go gold, you're going to sell 500,000 singles, the album's not going to come out, and at the end of the day, you're going to move on to the next record, and that's how urban survive. But I think, I actually think it's a systematic process to keep that kind of music out of the door sometimes. And I think that record companies have to take a lot of chances, especially I think in the urban departments. I think it's the duty of an urban A&R and urban executive to try to infuse good urban music back into the culture so that we compete on a level. Because it's not that I don't recognize the urban charts on Billboard. I just feel like it's a gimme. It's kind of like any country artist that has a Hot 100 #1 record. I'm thinking they feel like they've really accomplished something, because my music is competing in a space with pop records and rap records and R&B records and Latin records, and I'm #1. So it's an entirely different conversation to have when you have a #1 country record. I do country. I'm almost supposed to have this, you know. Beyonce's supposed to have a #1 urban record. You know what I'm saying? Cool. But it's having the Hot 100 #1 records. That's where you get into the conversation of the competition of music. So that's why I feel like we need to be in that space to compete.